Hey everybody, EchoV here, and when you mainly talk about a specific topic on YouTube, it's often difficult to talk about other topics that you prefer due to your main audience. I know, hilarious of me to say something like that considering my subscriber count. Anyway, one of my interests is mythology, with YouTubers such as the Mythology Guy and Doubleyoo focusing on the topic. And as you'd expect, a lot of Pokémon are based on mythological creatures. And there are some mythological creatures that haven't been turned to Pokémon yet. So for this video, I'll be talking about some mythological creatures that should become Pokémon in any future games. Anyway, here we go! The first entry on this list is one that I'm sure that a lot of us are surprised hasn't been turned to a Pokémon yet, is the Griffin. Described as a creature with the body of a lion, with the head, wings, and claws of an eagle, not counting dragons, griffins are quite possibly one of the most well-known mythological creatures out there. Because of its combination with the lion, king of beasts, and the eagle, king of birds, griffins were often considered to be powerful and majestic creatures, often guarding priceless treasure. With how popular griffins are, I'm genuinely surprised that we haven't had a Pokémon remotely inspired by griffins. Sure, we've had both lion and eagle Pokémon, but nothing on griffins yet. This should go without saying, but a griffin Pokémon should of course be a flying type. Just a pure flying type. Considering how few pure flying type Pokémon are there in the series, a griffin would fit the bill perfectly. As for abilities, a potential Griffin Pokémon should have an ability that reflects its powerful characteristics like Tough Claws, Intimidate, Defiant, or maybe something similar. Seriously, a Griffin Pokémon is long overdue. We need one. More lion-inspired creatures incoming with the Manticore, which is a Persian legendary creature described with the body of a lion, a human head, and sometimes dragon wings and a tail with venomous quills, often depicted as a scorpion's tail. I mean, just look at this thing. If this does not scream, make this thing a Pokemon, then I don't know what does. A Manticore Pokemon will of course mainly be poison type due to its poisonous quills, but I can also see it having a flying typing due to its having wings in some depictions. As for abilities, the Manticore can potentially have Poison Touch for its ability. Manticores aren't exactly high on people's wants to be a Pokemon list, but I am one of the few who wants it, so bring it in, Game Freak! Next up is another lion creature from mythology, the Nemean Lion. And I promise that this will be the last lion-inspired creature. Anyway, the Nemean Lion is from Greek mythology, and was one of the 12 labors of Heracles, being its first task. Yes, we are using the Greek pronunciation. Learn it, live it, love it! Anyway, the Nemean Lion is a regular lion, but with golden fur, making it impervious to any attack, forcing Heracles to kill it by strangling it with his bare hands. A Nemean Lion-inspired Pokemon should be normal type, but I can definitely see it also being a potential steel type due to its golden fur. As for abilities, it needs an ability similar to Bulletproof but for physical moves, as a nod to it being immune to weapons. The story of Heracles is one of the most well-known stories in mythology out there, so a Nemean Lion would be a perfect fit. We've had a few animalistic creatures lately, so let's have a few humanoid ones for a while, starting with the Centaur, yet another very well-known mythological creature. Now, just in case I need to clarify, a Centaur is essentially a creature with the lower body of a horse, but with the upper body of a human. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you are hesitant to the idea, especially considering that humanoid Pokemon are disliked by a lot, but allow me to introduce to you the Centaur from the Monster Rancher series, which shows that it can be done without making it look too humanoid. A Centaur Pokemon can easily be a normal type, but maybe adds a dark typing as well, since they're known to be quite uncivilized for standards, being pretty much animals. As for abilities, the ability Stamina comes to mind, but perhaps another ability can work as well. Sick of humanoids? Too bad! Because next is the Siren. Oops, wrong image. There we go. Much better. Yes, contrary to the mermaid-like depictions that are used often, sirens are actually more bird-like in appearance, but the idea is still generally the same regardless. It's a humanoid creature with alluring voices in order to lure victims to their doom. For its typing, flying is definitely the obvious choice, but I would also like to add the dark typing as a nod to the siren's habit of luring soldiers to their doom. I can also see Game Freak adding the water typing as a fun little nod to its mermaid depictions. As for abilities, I honestly have no idea. Every ability I could find that could fit a siren fits more to its mermaid attributes than anything flying. I guess something along the lines of maybe sound moves are stronger? I don't know. Also, before anyone says anything, no, Primarina is not a siren. Although Bulbapedia says so, it is not. We leave Greek mythology for the time being and get into Norse mythology with the final humanoid being, because I'm sure a lot of you are sick of it at this point, and that is the Valkyrie, who were a group of maidens who serve Odin and sent to battlefields and choose who were worthy enough for a place in Valhalla. I chose the Valkyries as an entry for this because we need more heroic looking Pokemon and maybe a new group of Pokemon as well, both of which I think that the Valkyries fit perfectly. A Valkyrie inspired Pokemon will obviously have a flying typing and maybe Fairy as a secondary typing, simply because Light isn't a type and Fairy is the closest thing we're gonna get for a while. As for abilities, I'm honestly stuck with this one as well. At first, I thought Aroma Veil sounded right, but now I'm not too certain. You know, I just realized something. We need a standalone legendary Pokemon, and for a mythological creature that fits the bill, next up is Sleipnir, the 8-legged horse of Odin with a very, let's just say, peculiar origin to say the least. To put it short, let's just say this guy gets around a lot. Anyway, to me, a Sleipnir Pokemon should be a standalone legendary solely because of its status as the personal mount of Odin. Sleipnir's typing can potentially be a ghost and normal type with perhaps the ability Levitate as a nod to Odin's ride across the 9 realms, which, fun fact, is actually within walking distance from each other. If you're not convinced that Sleipnir should be a standalone legendary, then the next one probably will. And for the final entry for Norse mythology is Fenrir, the Great Wolf, who is yet another product of Loki's misadventures. I told you he gets around. Anyways, in mythology, Fenrir was bound by a magical chain for fear of his strength and what evil came from him. And considering that he bit off Tyr's hand, I can't say I blame them one bit. If it wasn't obvious, considering Fenrir's role in mythology, Fenrir will obviously have the dark typing, and perhaps maybe the rock typing as well, as a nod to Fenrir being bound for a rock until Ragnarok. As for abilities, the sadistic side of me wants slow start, considering Fenrir's bound by chains. Sadism aside though, perhaps Strong Jaw would work much better. And we're done with Norse mythology, on to the next one! And for the penultimate spot on this list is the Bakunawa, a serpent-like dragon from Philippine mythology. Come on guys, I'm Filipino. I gotta put at least one in this video. Anyway, in mythology, the Bakunawa is believed to be the cause of eclipses, earthquakes, rains, and wind because it eats the moon. So in a way, Bakunawa is a draconic Absol. The obvious typing for Bakunawa would be a dark and dragon type. Side note, I just realized the dragon typing hasn't been brought up until now despite being the go-to typing for legendaries. Odd, don't you think? Anyway, as for abilities, at first, Pressure seemed like a good idea, but a better ability in my opinion for a Bakunawa dragon is an ability where its dark type attacks are stronger. You know, like Exhilarate, but for dark types. It fits, don't you think? And for the final spot on this list, we have the Night Marchers, who are the deadly ghosts of ancient tribal Hawaiian warriors from Hawaiian mythology. Big shock, I know. Anyway, the Night Marchers only come out at night honoring the Hawaiian gods or on the nights of Kanaloa, beating war drums and blowing from conch shells to announce their arrival. A Night Marcher inspired Pokemon can easily be a ghost type and maybe even add the fighting typing since they are deceased warriors after all. As for ability, Battle Armor easily comes to mind. You know, it's funny. We've had Hawaii as a Pokemon region with the Alola region back in Gen 7, yet a Night Marcher Pokemon never became a thing. And I know, a lot of people are gonna bring up Marshadow, but personally, I don't see it. When I think of a Night Marcher Pokemon, I think more on how Phalanx did it. It makes better sense if you ask me. And that's it for this video. Any mythological creature that you think has the potential to be a future Pokemon, comment them below. Link to the channels in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. If it's your birthday today, then happy birthday. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye everyone, be good to each other.